Hello, and welcome to a stress management moment. I'm your host, Dennis, and today I want to talk about trying to keep that stress level down while we're stuck at home, especially if we're stuck at home with family. So, the first thing we need to do is to learn to juggle. When we're home with family all the time, we need to learn to juggle and balance those things in our life that matter. If we're working from home, work certainly matters. It's very important. We have to maintain our income, we have to maintain our careers, and not let this interfere with our long-term goals and future. But at the same time, family demands and needs are going to be greater than usual. And family is right there. Family's not at home while you're dealing with the stress of work. Family's right next to you while you're dealing with the stress of work. So we need to keep that balance. We need to give each its place and its priority and organize our lives in such a way as that one doesn't interfere with the other. Now that's easier said than done, I realize, especially dealing with small children. However, it can be done and it must be done. If we're going to have a successful career, we're going to survive this intact, we're going to be good parents and good children if we're living with our parents, and we're going to be good family members, we'll strike that balance. Now, we're going to do that in several ways. First of all, we're going to set boundaries. We're going to sit down as a family and we're going to designate school and work time and keep those as separate as possible. Designate school and work areas. For example, everybody might be sharing the dining room table as a workspace. We may need to work that out and do it a different way. If you have a patio and it's a nice day, maybe somebody can be outside working while someone's inside working, etc. Use your imagination to give space and place to those things that need to be done and make them valuable, make them important, equally valuable. You may have to write schedules. You might have to take turns. But it works. Be disciplined, balance your work life, learn to juggle, get it right, and you'll be happier and so will your family. The next thing is look after yourself, especially if you're the breadwinner and you're home and you're parenting and you're taking care of kids. You have a lot of responsibility. So for you, it's really important that you take time for yourself, you look after yourself. You make sure that you're eating well, you're exercising, you're not getting behind on your work, which causes more stress. You're able to communicate clearly, make it a focus to do these things. Now, I know these things are all hard and they're all a lot of work, but most successful things are hard and are a lot of work. That's how people succeed. And the bottom line is when it comes to stress, doing the right thing at the right time is the best way to head off stress, because so much stress comes because we do the wrong thing at the wrong time. We sleep when we should be working, we work when we should be sleeping, we eat when we're not hungry, etc. It's ancient stuff, folks. Go look at Zen Buddhism. That's where I got many of these ideas from. It's basic common sense that mankind has known forever. When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep. But we tend to break those rules because somehow we think it's virtuous to ignore them. The truth of the matter is our lives need balance. The next thing is, and it's the key to all the things I've said above this, is discipline. We have to have discipline. One of the most successful families I ever met, I mean, mom and dad both with great careers, the kids were all high award achieving, scholarship winning. One of the children won scholarships all the way through to a master's degree. That's where I lost track with the family. The other two children were on that track. Always went to bed at the same time, always got up at the same time. They ate meals at the same time every day. They were very disciplined. Now, you might think that was boring, but they lived far from a boring life. They were financially successful. The kids' enormous college costs were absorbed because of scholarships. They traveled, they had fun, they loved each other. They were a great family unit, but they were a disciplined family unit. And it worked. Discipline heads off a lot of problems. I'm never going to stress over an unpaid bill if I pay the bill. I'm never going to stress over an unruly child if I love and discipline and teach my child. It heads off problems that are coming down the line. And that's very often what we do with lack of discipline. It becomes laziness. It's easier to let it go now and worry about the consequence later. When the truth is, deal with it now and you won't have to deal with it later. We said setting boundaries, and I was talking about geographical boundaries within the home, trying to have a little niche that's yours to give you a sense of privacy in a workspace. But I think we have to set boundaries with relationships too. Children need to learn that when mom and dad are working at home, they need to not disturb them unless it's something very urgent. And they need to be taught what urgent is. We need to set boundaries in our relationships, to give each other space within the home when we're confined together. Sit down and talk about these things. What do you need? This is what I need. And try to respect those boundaries. It'll go a long way to ease the tension and the disagreements in the family if everybody knows exactly what's expected of them. And the people who have those expectations do so gently and aren't rigid. You got to be a little bit flexible, but set some general boundaries that have guidelines so everybody kind of knows where they're at, what they're supposed to be doing, and what their place in all this is. That will help. The next thing is, and I can't overemphasize this enough, communication. We have got to talk to one another. We've got to express what we're feeling. Now, don't overexpress. I'm not giving you an excuse for whining about every little thing, but talking. Talk about it. Talk about your wishes, your hopes and desires. Make plans for when the quarantine is over and we can go on a trip or we can go out to our favorite restaurant again. Talk about those things. Have something to look forward to. You don't want your life to be a dark tunnel in which you feel like there's no light at the end of that tunnel. Don't let yourself trap into that feeling because that leads to depression. So talk about the future. Talk about making plans. Communicate your affection for one another. Communicate your unhappiness in a loving way. Talk. Work it out. Have family meetings on a regular basis. Probably need to do it more now that you're actually with each other all the time. I know that seems counterintuitive, but the fact of the matter is, the more you're together, the more you need to communicate well. And finally, have quality time. Take advantage of the fact that we're not working 8 to 5, that we're not constantly under a time pressure as we once were, to have a little quality time. A lot more hugs for little ones, more appreciation if you live with your parents, thanking them, being appreciative family members, communicating with people that you don't get to see by FaceTime or by phone or by Zoom. Keep those connections. Don't let people disappear from your lives during this time. Do quality things together, whether it's to play cards or play a game or eat together. Take advantage of the fact that we're not all spread out into the community at school or work like we normally are. We are together. So that's a good time to have quality time with our family. And comfort. This is a stressful time. We're all worried about relatives who might be subject to this COVID virus. We're all concerned about us getting it and our children. This is a good time to motivate us to love one another and to show that love by being comforting. A hug and an understanding goes a long way. Realize you're not the only one under stress. You're not the only one that's worried. Look after the elderly people in your lives. If you're living with your parents as an adult, look after them. Be appreciative. Reassure the children. Heck, pet the dog. Comforting is good for you and the person you give that comfort to. A snuggle on a couch can go a long way toward healing a relationship. And spend quality time with yourself. Don't forget that just because you're surrounded by people doesn't mean you don't need to sit and read a book, watch a favorite TV show, go for a walk, go sit in the backyard, have a little quiet time to yourself. If you're a person of faith, pray. If you're not, meditate. Have that quiet time. Carve it out into your day so that you can be emotionally healthy and strong and ready to face whatever Mother Nature throws at us. We can survive this. We can go beyond surviving this. We can have a greater appreciation for our jobs and our families and our friends than we've had before. I miss all my friends and I miss my family. I live alone, so I'm doing this by myself. But thank goodness I'm able to work at home. I'm able to connect with my work friends and have that comfort. I'm able to connect with family by the telephone. It makes a big difference. So in summary, do the right thing. You know what it takes to make family work. You know what it takes to make work work. So do those things. Have enough discipline to organize your life. To fail to plan is a plan to fail. Well, that's your stress management moment from Choices today. I'm your host, Dennis. I hope you have a wonderful day and get out there and take care of your family. Thank you.